All right, we are back, and a few things we're going to cover. Primarily going to be on the ES, Nasdaq 100, S&P 500. Now, I obviously doing the video a little bit differently than usual. First thing I want to say, rate pause as expected, exactly what we wanted. I'm not going to go too much into this today. I'll have a more in detailed video hopefully tomorrow evening. But I'll cover a few big bullet points over this and what I think this means going forward. Ultimately, short, you want to leave the video immediately. I think we're bullish, right? I think you have to take this as bullish. You got to like what you're seeing. Couldn't have picked a better time to go on vacation, to be honest. It's pretty great. Love it I see him. Now, what does this mean? The biggest things I was watching for. FedPel, I'll continue to think there's a path towards a soft landing, continues to say this over and over and over, and I think that we're proving that point as we move forward right now. FedPel, the decline in PC inflation is pretty significant. Again, like we highlighted yesterday, they're not harping on why these are dropping, but they still are happy that it's happening. And whether it be from energy, doesn't matter. They're still happy. I will say, if you want to get a better understanding, Financial Juice on Twitter has a lot of this, and they kind of covered all the major bullet points. So you can go check it out. I prefer going over this with you guys like this instead of going over the full document on everything that they've said. I think we'll waste too much time, but ultimately this is what I'm looking at, and I think it's important. He definitely doesn't say that inflation is gone or anything like that. If you listen to the recording, you also see his main bullets that they did not price in a cut this year. They also believe that this might be a skip, right? Meaning they might raise rates again down the line. I think that he has to leave this open-ended. We've gone over that as well. That's the whole reason of pausing right now, because inflation is not handled, but it still gives you a pathway down the line if you need to hike down the road. But short term, again, I can only say this so many times, I believe you are bullish. I believe you like what you're seeing. Now, when we go back to the chart, I think we get a lot of answers here. This morning, a lot of the action. This candle right here, I think, is extremely important. You can clearly see sellers try to push you down. You push right back up on ES. Looking at Nasdaq, very similar. Sellers try to push you down from basically 1 o'clock when the rate gets announced, etc. And Powell starts talking, pushes you down. You bounce right back up. I think this tells you everything you need to know. Buyers are stepping into the market. They like what's happening. We're going to see the same thing with bonds, yields, etc. as well. I don't think it's going to happen immediately. I think it's going to start playing out, though. As rates slow down, as hikes end, as we assume, this is going to play out to the side where bonds, yields, start to decline. Risk on comes back into the market. So we look at the 2-hour chart, 4-hour, I think they paint a very bullish picture. Now, looking at something like RTY, Russell, you are getting more of a pullback here. I will say that. But again, you're over the 200 SMA. You've seen a nice push here. It's worth mentioning as well. Again, I'm going to continue to show you how we've moved before based on the Russell. If you come back and see, back in January, right, we pushed above, we retested, now down near the 200. You bounced and pushed, even stronger than the first time. Now the question is do we start pushing back to the upside? Does that rotation come back into a risk-on sentiment? And I think there's a high possibility we do so. We saw a really nice beat on PPI. We saw CPI do well. Again, they did say as well in here, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. They said that core CPI, core inflation, is not moving the way they wanted it to see it move. But they continue to say, too, this is only the beginning, the earliest signs of disinflation, right? So in their words, it's only going to get better. Again, don't shoot the messenger. This is just what's being said. So you can go through this, Financial Juice on Twitter. They literally have all the major bullet points. I love these guys. Benzinga as well is really solid, but this is free. And I like to give you guys as much free resources as possible. Financial Juice. I also follow them on Twitter. Really cool tool. Again, favorite stocks going into the next few days, etc. I'm going to be really quick about this. I will say VIX as well is basically at lows as well. You can continue to zoom out. You can continue to see. You are trending at lows here. You can go to Trading View if you want to, but again, you push to lows, you push to lows, you push to lows. It is what it is. Continues to happen over and over and over. VIX M, VIX Y, doesn't matter. They're all pushing down. And this points to the thesis, the idea that you are moving into a risk-on environment, again, in the market. So again, areas that I like the most right now, I'm going to give it to you essentially straight up. I really like semiconductors. I think you're seeing more money flow back into these guys, specifically LRCX. I said this in yesterday's video as well. You can see we're mounting 620. Again, massive level. We've gone over this plenty of times here. And you can see how you're moving in here. Exactly what you want to see. I just want to show you. So you can see the support, previous highs here. Again, you're holding, you push below. Sellers get completely destroyed, bought right back up. LRCX, I see these guys pushing above 640, 642, which was the first and the original target. And giving you a visual why. You're already seeing names like NVIDIA, which again, people were telling you, these names are bearish. They're taking a turn for the worse. They're gonna gap fill to the downside. Again, I can only say it so many times. Stop trying to create your own trend and just trade the trend that's given to you. NVIDIA, shorts tried to stack back in, push from 375 back into local highs around 430. AMD, you have AMD day yesterday around AI. You push down to the key level 122. You bounce once again. You can't make this up. These names are very, very strong. AVGO, remember they pushed up to like 900, 930. They dropped down near 780, already back up another $100. So I like the way semiconductors are moving, and you can see money flowing back into these names, even though there's this sentiment of fear. Again, LRCX is one of the best bangs for your buck right now. I believe they will push up. And if you look at something like the daily time frame, weekly time frame, whatever you want to look at, you can also see that you still have quite a bit of room to go into your all-time highs here as well. But again, 640, 645, but I think you're going to break above that. I really do. I like them a lot. A few other names, we're going to keep it going. I don't really love Chinese names, but I do love what's happening with BABA. If we look really quick as well, you can actually go in and you can see, let me zoom back in. I'm trying to see the indicator right here, the 200 on the weekly. I don't know why it's not popping up. 200 on the dailies right there as well, around $89. You're getting above that range. And ultimately, this is what you wanted to see. You're getting above that region, $89. I think BABA could start running as well, especially once it breaks highs around 91. Again, I think you have a straight shot back into $100. You like that a lot as well. Names like Microsoft, I think you've kind of missed your opportunity there. I think Microsoft will break and push towards highs. But again, I was mentioning down near 320. That ship has kind of sailed in my opinion. Amazon, I still like these guys. You can clearly see you're riding the trend line to the upside, higher lows continually. Again, targets 132. I like them a lot going into there. XLY specifically is going crazy and breaking to the upside, primarily because of Tesla. Keep that in mind. But again, Amazon, really big fan. Last but not least, I do love Google. I think Google is consolidating here, and I don't think you get this many opportunities. It looks shockingly similar of what we saw back here, back in April when you consolidated at 108, and then you end up pushing up towards 130. The question is now, do you get another push like you saw basically in the past? If you start to do so, and you can actually see 122 previous highs you had back in last August, holding that right now, I mean, I would be pretty bullish above 130, possibly even getting that push through this illiquidity right here up into 141 over the next month or two. Really big fan here of Google, like what they're doing, and I think there's a lot of promise here. Again, I think the name of the game is not to rush into some of these that are already breaking out. Finding the setups, being patient, they will continue to come to us. I can only say the same thing so many times. It's been a decent trip right now. I'm excited to get back to work tomorrow. I should be back around sometime in the evening, so the next video should be back in the office. But again, take your time off, guys. Stop trading some of these very important trading days, specifically FOMC. You're probably just going to lose money. But again, follow on Twitter. Discord link is down below if you're interested. Have a good one, traders.